independent host of Nancy Grace, which you can see weekdays at 8 p.m. on HLN. She drew record ratings during the Casey Anthony trial, but she's been under fire by some who criticized her coverage of the case. Let's talk with her. Please welcome Nancy Grace. Nancy! It's nice to finally meet you. I was scared to death. I thought, oh man, she's gonna chew my head off. Are you actually very friendly?
So well, I might. It depends on what you say.
Well, that's what I want to find out. People might not know you are a trial lawyer.
Yes.
And you have a perfect record. Is that correct?
So far.
How many convictions?
Well, somewhere over 100 at trial. And I don't know how many thousands of guilty pleas.
Wow, okay, all right.
But that's not unusual. A lot of prosecutors try that many cases in like an inner city setting.
So when did you first become interested in the law? Give me a little background.
Well, I actually went to school to study Shakespearean literature. And my dream was to teach it at a college or graduate level. My fiance was murdered shortly before our wedding. And that was back in 1979. And everything went sideways. I ultimately went back to school to go to law school and become a felony prosecutor to help crime victims.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Now, Casey Anthony, I noticed you called her Tot Mom, and you seem to have different names for each one of these cases.
I do. I got that back in law school because sometimes at night in law school you'd have to read 300-400 pages of material, and to keep the cases straight I would name each one by their content. That's where Tot Mom came from, plus it had to fit on the bottom of the banner on the screen.
Right, okay.
And we've got Gin Baby, Vodka Baby, Microwave Baby, Tot Mom.
Right.
That was just a moniker she got. There's really nothing personal about it.
Now, you said Casey was guilty from day one.
Yes.
Now, why? I mean, it doesn't seem like all the information is out there.
No, not all the information was out there, but enough information was there, Jay, to determine that she lied about her child's disappearance. Went out and partied, bought booze and push-up bras at the local Target, spent nights working as a shot girl.
Well, let me ask you, it's not
she was not worried about her child at all.
It's not that I don't disagree with you, but is it going too far calling her guilty? I mean, you have this forum.
Do you think the jury listened to me?
No.
Well, then what's the problem?
Well, okay. Well, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean,
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you something. Well, that's what's in a lot of people's minds. Look at Brian sneaking away. You don't want to get into it. Because
I can lunge.
Were you?
My husband's out there somewhere.
Was your audience, the people watching you, privy to information that the jury did not get? This is what's confusing.
Yes.
Because watching you and hearing, I was like, well, this case would be 10 minutes, should be guilty.
Jay, on her computer, how to make chloroform in her car trunk.
Well, no, I understand that, but my question is
the baby's hair in the trunk. I guarantee you, my children's hair, it's not in a car trunk.
Yeah.
All right?
But what did I understand that, but what did the jury get all this information? Did the jury get all this same information? That's my question. So you and your audience were privy to things that this jury, this is why it's hard for people to understand why she was found not guilty.
Well, the jury was given most of the evidence, enough evidence by far to convict. I think that they did not understand the meaning of reasonable doubt, the standard of reasonable doubt. And, I mean, they got back there and they've admitted, they even thought that the grandfather may have committed the murder. And there is no evidence of that whatsoever. So they were like making up all these scenarios in their head. In fact, the foreperson said he was sick and disgusted at the verdict. I think that says it all.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like, I watched...
I'm not going to go on TV and pretend.
Right. I mean, I watched one day and it looked like the prosecutor was snickering while the defense was making their case. And I went, well, that'll just turn people off. Was that part of it? Did they lose it because they were too cocky?
No, I think it was over when they struck the jury. When they got the 12 in the box, it was done. No, I never laughed during a trial because I was always afraid I was going to lose. And I was always convinced that the perpetrator was in fact guilty and had committed a violent crime. But laughing is not a good look in front of a jury. However, that prosecutor did a good job.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the parents. Now, this seems to be this huge family of liars.
We're back on George and Cindy.
Yeah, yeah.
They did not commit the murder. That's all you need to know.
But they were able to put enough doubt in the jury's mind that perhaps the father may have had something to do with it? Is that? Because it's reasonable doubt, isn't it? And you're sending someone to their death. I mean, this woman killed her child. We're going to sentence her to death. Was it because it was the death penalty that maybe people backed off a little bit?
They may have, but the reality is you've got to have a guilty verdict first.
Right.
And if they had had a guilty verdict, they could have decided on a lesser sentence. They didn't have to give death. But regarding the parents, many people believe that the mother, Cindy Anthony, actually lied on the stand to help save Tot Mom.
Okay.
And then the father, George Anthony, an ex-cop, also testified, and the jury, for some reason, was very suspicious of him.
Yeah. Let me ask you about jury selection. Is it so good now that you can almost make it go any way you want? I mean, obviously this jury was selected, you know, they have these professional people that examine every part.
I never used a jury consultant.
No?
I always picked the people that I had a vibe with, that I had a good feeling about. But that did include, on my first bank robbery trial, I've had a convicted bank robber on the jury.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. I didn't know that when I put him on there.
Let me ask you this. Much like O.J. Simpson, he was not found guilty of the murder. Later,
cannot hear you.
No. But I'm not making that correlation. I'm saying later he was convicted of a civil crime. Can anything be done here? This child, can she be convicted of child neglect? Can she? Is there any other
she cannot be
civil rights violation? Anything?
On any criminal charge related to the death of Kelly, 2-year-old Kelly. There might be some civil cases like wrongful death. Look, guys are coming out of the woodwork now saying, I'm the baby daddy. Some inmate in South Carolina says now he's the baby's daddy, so he wants to sue. Yeah. So when Tot Mom gets the $1 million book deal, he can get a piece of it. They're lining up for that. So there may be some civil actions.
Yeah, you think people want to read this book by her? Yes.
Really? I don't, because it's the only thing she ever told the truth about was Kelly's DOB. After that, it went downhill. So, no, I don't want to read a book by Tot Mom, Casey
Let me ask
Anthony,
you this.
but other people will.
They're offering $1 million for an interview. If she said...
She also got a porn offer for Vivid Entertainment. They withdrew that, but yeah.
Well, even porn people won't do certain things. But let me ask you this.
You don't want to be turned off in the middle of a good porn flick, I guess. I guess that's what it's all about.
Especially if you're wearing the petite model. Let me ask you this. Suppose Casey Anthony said, I'll only do one interview, but it's with Nancy Grace. Would you do it?
Not for money, and I doubt she'd be interested.
No? What would you say?
The only thing I'm remotely interested in is why she did this. And I know she would lie about it, so an interview would be futile. Also, I don't think she's going to talk to anybody that's not going to pay her $1 million or a whole lot of money.
Let me ask you, as a prosecutor, is it important why? Aren't there people that are just psychopathic? They lash out, they will kill someone or do something. It's irrational. Does there have to be a reason why? This is something that the jury seemed hung up on as well.
That hurts me a little to even think about that, because I wondered so long why after my fiance was murdered. And then for years when I was prosecuting, I would look over at the defendant, not while the jury was looking, but I would look over there and wonder why would you leave so much pain in your wake? After about 5 years of jury trials, I said, why ask why? It doesn't matter why. It matters who did this thing. That's what I've got to prove.
Now they're talking about this Kelly's Law.
Yes.
Explain what this is.
Well, Kelly's Law, they're trying to get it passed in Congress. Okay, that's not going to happen. It's going to be up to the states to implement criminal.
And what is the law exactly?
And it makes it a felony for a parent not to report a child missing within X number of hours, which I advocate. I've already gone on and signed up myself.
Well, Nancy, thank you very much. It went by very quickly. I hope we can talk some more. Nancy Grace, be right back with the Shaggy right after this.